Tales of Herding Gods Episode 55. In the previous episode, Qin Mu and his companions returned to Rolan's Golden Palace, where Grand Shaman was forced to surrender Butcher's lower body. Despite his own pain and humiliation, the Grand Shaman could do nothing but retreat. Qin Mu, always compassionate and skilled in healing, helped Grandpa Butcher restore his broken body, through long hours of boiling herbs and stitching flesh with vital qi. He reconnected Butcher's upper and lower halves, finally bringing his master back to full strength. During their talk, Butcher discovered Qin Mu's mysterious sack, a Taotie Sack, crafted from the skin of a divine beast with a stomach vast enough to hold an entire world. He warned Qin Mu not to be greedy, reminding him that every villager from their home carried flaws of their own. As dawn arrived, Butcher stood whole again, cleaner, calmer, and with pride in Qin Mu's growth. But before leaving, he gave a chilling warning. Inside Qin Mu's sack was the handbone of a living god, an artifact too dangerous for him to carry. And the story continues. I chopped it off back then from the heavens, so of course he's still alive. With those words, Butcher and Blind slowly walked away, their figures receding into the distance. Though their steps were unhurried, they moved with remarkable speed. From afar, Butcher's voice drifted back. He spoke of the hand he had traded his lower body for, explaining that the divine flesh had been stripped away and turned into spirit pills, leaving only the bones behind. Blind's voice followed, warm and familiar, reminding Qin Mu to return to the village for the new year. Qin Mu smiled, waving at their retreating shadows. I will definitely be back for New Year, he shouted. Blind raised a hand in response. Even without turning around, his senses keen as ever, Qin Mu marveled at his ability, remarking how clearly Blind could see, even from so far away. Moments later, a booming voice echoed across the vast prairie, Chancellor Ba Shan. Shouting Qin Mu's name again and again, Qin Mu tried to answer, but realized that while Ba Shan's mighty voice could reach him across hundreds of miles, his own couldn't carry that far. Just then, Ling Yusho awoke and, seeing Qin Mu's concern, offered to help. She raised her hand and released a brilliant fireball into the sky, hoping it would be seen. The flames burst into a wave of heat, but Qin Mu smiled and told her it was useless. Ba Shan was too far away. Soon after, the Green Bull and Hu Linger also awoke. When the bull realized that Butcher and Blind were gone, he seemed crestfallen. Qin Mu explained softly that they had already left. Meanwhile, Ba Shan's distant shouting continued, his powerful lungs unrelenting. Qin Mu sighed and said they should head toward the border, eventually. Ba Shan would do the same. The Green Bull returned to his true form, and Qin Mu lifted Hu Linger onto his back, with Ling Yusho joining them. As they rode, Qin Mu asked if her injuries had healed. Smiling, Yusho lifted her shirt slightly, revealing her pale, flawless waist. Even the scar is gone, she said playfully. Qin Mu, whose own skin was darker from years of river swimming, touched the spot gently and felt a small bump. Don't move, he said softly. I'll dissolve the clotted blood, or the bump will stay. Yusho froze, allowing him to guide his vital qi through his fingertip, sending threads of energy into her skin. She squirmed a little, giggling at the ticklish sensation. But soon the feeling turned sharp. Qin Mu wiped away the released blood with his silk handkerchief, leaving her skin smooth and unmarked. When she teasingly asked about the scars on her back, Hu Linger chimed in from nearby, proudly saying she had already treated them. The two girls exchanged forced smiles, each aware of the other's jealousy. Hu Linger asked Yusho's age. She was 16, while the fox spirit was 12. The revelation that Linger was younger than Qin Mu, yet already living so close to him, stung Yusho's heart. The little fox's innocence was disarming, her answers cunningly simple. Every question Yusho threw at her was met with the same unshakable reply. Young master likes it this way. Whether it was her fur, her eyes, or her refusal to shapeshift, every answer struck true. Yusho realized she was losing ground in this strange, silent rivalry. Despite her pride as a princess, She found herself jealous of a small fox who simply knew how to please Qin Mu. Then she laughed at herself. What was she doing? Being envious of an untransformed fox spirit? Before long, Ba Shan finally caught up with them at the border. When he saw that Butcher had already departed, the towering man broke into tears. Cursing and weeping uncontrollably, Qin Mu comforted him gently, explaining that Butcher had only gone ahead because he disliked Ba Shan's endless talking. The words calmed him a little, though soon Ba Shan began to ramble again, recounting childhood punishments, cultivation lessons, and embarrassing memories of washing his master's undergarments. Qin Mu and Ling Yusho exchanged helpless looks. There was no end to his stories. Meanwhile, far away at the Imperial College, the young patriarch was quietly packing his belongings. Without ceremony, he hung his official seal on the door and smiled faintly. Elder of Discipline arrived, carrying a small basket filled with scrolls and books. Together, they departed the college silently, not alerting a single soul. At the mountain's base, the dragon Qilin stood waiting. The young patriarch gently stroked its head, explaining that his life was nearing its end. If you follow me, he said, you will only watch me die. You were born free. Go live freely again. He unlatched the chain from the creature's neck, setting it loose. The Qilin hesitated, lost, asking where it should go. But the old man only smiled and turned away, saying that freedom meant there was nowhere one couldn't go. Leaving the capital, he met Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor, who stood waiting on the road. The preceptor greeted him respectfully, asking if he would truly leave without bidding farewell to the emperor. The young patriarch replied that he had never come for the emperor in the first place, and so he would not leave for him either. They walked together, side by side, as the preceptor spoke of how deeply he valued the patriarch's companionship, how no one else in the world understood him as well. The old man reminded him that the path ahead would be filled with hardship, that there was nothing more he could teach, and that the preceptor would have to rely on himself. When asked why he had refused to take him as a disciple, the young patriarch answered calmly, because I knew you would surpass me. The ideas you've had are things I never would have thought of. I've learned from you as much as you from me. At last, the preceptor hesitated, asking one final question. Was their path, their reform of the empire, their merging of knowledge and sects, truly the orthodox way? The young patriarch stopped and looked him straight in the eye. In the eyes of others, what we do is heresy, he said. We have broken old traditions, founded schools and colleges, and treated commoners and disciples as equals. To them, that is sin. But to us, this is the true path. Don't care what others say. What's right is right. Don't let the furious barkings of others turn it wrong. And that wraps up this episode. In this part, we witnessed a blend of farewells, emotions, and quiet realizations that marked another turning point in Qin Mu's journey. It began with the departure of Butcher and Blind, two mentors who had guided him through countless trials. Their parting was not one of sadness but of strength and legacy. Butcher's words about sacrificing his body for power, and Blind's gentle call for Qin Mu to return home for the new year, carried deep emotion and warmth. They left quietly, their shadows stretching far into the prairie, leaving Qin Mu to continue walking his own path. Later, the tone shifted into a more lighthearted and human moment as Qin Mu, Ling Yusho, and Hu Linger shared their journey together. The small interactions, the gentle healing touch, Ling Yusho's shy teasing, and Hu Linger's clever, playful replies, revealed the delicate bonds forming between them. Through their rivalry and affection, we saw the softer, more personal side of Qin Mu's adventures, reminding us that even heroes have moments of warmth and tenderness. The arrival of Chancellor Ba Shan brought another wave of emotion. His booming voice and rough manner contrasted with his childlike grief at missing Butcher. His endless storytelling, full of memories, humor, and nostalgia, painted a vivid picture of his deep respect for his master. Amid laughter and sighs, Qin Mu comforted him, showing the empathy and patience that make him more than just a fighter, but also a healer of hearts. Meanwhile, far away in Imperial College, the story took on a quiet and contemplative tone. The young patriarch, who had devoted his life to teaching and enlightenment, chose to leave the institution he had built. His farewell was not loud or ceremonial, it was peaceful, like the closing of a long chapter. His meeting with the Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor was deeply symbolic, two great minds walking side by side, discussing the true nature of the path they had chosen. Their conversation reminded us that change often challenges what the world calls orthodox. The Patriarch's final words, affirming that what is right remains right even in the face of criticism, captured the moral heart of this episode. It was a moment of truth, an acknowledgement that courage is not just about power, but about standing firm in one's beliefs. This episode balanced humor, tenderness, and wisdom. It showed us that parting and growth, laughter and reflection, all belong to the same journey. Qin Mu's world continues to expand, not only through battles and adventures but through the relationships, choices, and philosophies that shape him into who he is meant to become. If you enjoyed this episode or found it meaningful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive the latest updates on Qin Mu's journey. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all in the next episode.